I can't believe I let this happen. How scatterbrained can I get? Ugh. It's gonna be nighttime soon. Instead of being all snug in my dorm, I'm out and about in the life science department. I need to get back to Professor Garver's lab. I can't find my textbook for his class, and the last time I remember having it was when I was over there asking questions again. I think I might have accidentally left it. I'm hoping I did. I paid good money for that textbook, and with that price tag, I ain't buying another one. So I say, but I bet I'd buy another book if it came down to it. What can I say? I'm just that dedicated to the path of a good student. I'm just glad I noticed my book was missing before all the buildings were locked down. I think I have an hour or so until then, so I better get in there and get out ASAP. I make it to the lab building, then head upstairs, taking the stairs 2 at a time since I'm way too anxious to stand still in an elevator. I don't see many people around, which isn't surprising. It's getting late, and I'm sure people have better things to do than linger around the lab building. I'm not complaining. The less people around, the less witnesses, and I'd die of embarrassment if anyone saw me running around the building like this. This makes me realize my mistake a million steps out of the dorm room too late. No, what if his lab is locked? Crap, I didn't think of that. If there's no one around and the door's locked, then I just waste all my time. Oh man, what am I gonna do? How would I be able to get in? I'll bother thinking about it if that comes down to it. Right now I have to hope for the best. I can see the professor's lab coming up ahead anyway. It's really quiet on this floor, the weird kind of quiet where you can't even hear any white noise. It must be because barely anyone's here right now. I almost want to tiptoe just so my footsteps don't disturb the calm. But that's kind of stupid. Who's around for me to disturb anyway? I take a breath once I reach the lab door. Do or die time. Well, it's really more do or cry time because I know I'm so going to be crying if I can't get into the lab. I grab hold of the handle, turn it, and... Whoa, it turned. I look at the handle, unable to believe it. If it's turning... I turn the handle the way, then push on the door, and it opens obediently for me. Yes, it's open. Time to get my book. Though it is kind of weird that the door's unlocked. I mean, this is the lab. You don't want just anyone coming in and messing things up, right? I really don't get science people sometimes. It's a little dark on the lab, but bright enough that I can see where I'm going. I think I was in the back talking to Professor Garver like usual when I took my book out. I should start there. I get excited when I think about how close I am to being home free. So excited, in fact, that I think those noises I hear are the sounds of my beating heart until I listen more carefully. I hum in slight panic as I realize those noises are coming from the back room. Wait, is someone in here? I try to take a calming breath. Come on, Nicole. It has to be one of the interns who work in the lab. Like, who else could it be? A thief. That paranoid voice in my brain starts saying. A troublemaker, she continues. Okay, shut up, paranoid voice. It can't be any of that. Like, gosh, how good is our security team here anyway? I don't remember in time before the door suddenly opens. Ow, there's a sting in my leg. Oh, stingy, 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 stingy. Okay, I don't remember in time before the door opens suddenly. Panicking, I duck down and crawl to the far side of the lab station. My back presses flat against it, and I try my hardest to keep my breaths quiet as I hear footsteps. Nervously, I lean over to try and peek at who it was. Please be someone I know. Please don't be a hooligan. My prayers are answered as I see a familiar dark brown head of hair. Oh, thank God, it's just Jeff. I think it's Jeff. I'm just about to remove myself when I notice that something is really off about him. It's his face. Like, no, it's not scarred or disfigured, and he is smiling, but it's a really weird kind of smile. It's a very self-satisfied smile, the kind you give yourself after setting up the best practical joke ever and the person completely falls for it. He's walking different too, like a king in his domain. There's this kind of swagger to his step, like he knows he owns the area and anyone around should know it too. I know, I have an appointment tomorrow at 10 a.m. No, 1 p.m. Never mind. For my PT. Man, this is completely surreal. Is he okay? This is perfect. Ow, pain. My breath hitches as I hear him speak. This cannot be his voice. I mean, I've heard Jeff speak plenty of times before, and he's never spoken like that. Holding a hand over my mouth, I continue watching as he situates himself at a lab station. Hold on a second. Is that my book he's holding? It totally is, and he's just flipping through it like he owns it. Perhaps I spoke too soon. With a furrowed brow, Jeff sighs and claps the book shut. He releases it from his hands, letting it fall to the lab station with a loud thump. I forgot how utterly useless information from an introductory course in biology was. Of course I wouldn't learn anything new from it. He scoffs and eyes my book with a look of disdain. Honestly, I should burn this thing for having brought my hopes up. Oh, I wonder under what conditions the pages would burn the best. Perhaps I could also form a colored fire for the procedure. He wants to do what to my book? I move without thinking, and my shoes produce a shrill shriek as it rubs against the lab floor. Uh-oh, unless Jeff is deaf, he's definitely going to notice that. Is someone there? Jeff's voice sounds like the one I'm used to now, but it's strained. It's like he's forcing it, which I think he might just be doing. The cat's out of the bag now. I stand to my feet apprehensively, keeping my eyes on Jeff the entire time. Hey there, Jeff. I awkwardly gestured to my book. Seems like you found my book. Well, I'll just be on my way now. I stealthily walk over to him and hastily try to swipe at my book. However, he plants his hand on top of mine before I can pull it back. Smiling, his eyes lock onto mine, but I immediately know this is not the same smile I'm used to Jeff giving me. Huh. So how long have you been in here, Nicole? Well, funny story. I pull my book towards me super fast, knocking Jeff's hand away. Hugging it to my chest with an arm, I take a few steps back before I point accusingly at him. I know how to disarm a guy, so you better stay back. In theory, my dad taught me a few simple things, but it's not like I've ever had to practice. Jeff looks at me with unfettered amusement. I take that as you were there the entire time. I didn't mean to be. I only came here to look for my book, but then I heard you in the back room and I panicked and I hid. I wasn't trying to be sneaky. Yes, I suppose that is only natural, considering the present climate hovering over our quaint college campus. But this means you've seen things you were not meant to, Nicole. Heard the forbidden. I take a few steps back as Jeff advances on me. He reminds me of a cat toying with his prey. That would make me pray, wouldn't it? I must applaud you. If you are blessed enough to say they have witnessed the true genius of Jeff Ryan. You are a lucky girl, Nicole. Yes, very lucky. Wait, the true Jeff Ryan? Jeff, this isn't like you at all. Well, you've only met him twice. I'm beginning to think someone's been huffing a few too many chemical fumes. I mean, it can't be. You're like super nice and everyone looks up to you in the lab. If this isn't who you really are, then you are saying that's all a farce? Completely, utterly, truly, without rebut. Jeff raises his hands and shrugs indifferently. You would be surprised at what years of study and practice can do for your social life. That is all human interaction is, a formula. Encounter a person, simply add 1 part smile with 2 parts warmth, and the chance of successful exchange is at least 80%. Just look at you. It worked the first time we met, did it not? My mind seriously can't handle this right now, so all this time, even back then, that kind of warm, good-natured Jeff was this loony, egocentric, mad scientist wannabe all along? But why would you go through all the trouble to pretend to be something you're not? That doesn't make any sense. I don't recall ever owing you an explanation. I do what I do because I'd be bored otherwise. An honest answer, if you would, please. Would I be as popular as I am today of acting like this? How I truly am? You have 10 seconds to answer, and please make sure the reply is simply yes or no. Huh? That is not a yes or no. I know, you're just confusing me right now. I hold a hand to my head. My thoughts won't stop spinning right now. No, I don't think people would like you very much if you were being a huge jerk like you are now. Jeff snaps his fingers. Correct, sharp, Nicole. I had a feeling you were sharp. Anyway, now that you know, I'm afraid I'll have to kill you. What? I'm joking, of course. I stomp my foot and yell in frustration, shaking out my nerves. Don't do that. That's not funny. Yes, your girlish screams are of no entertainment to me, but seriously, do not speak a word of this to anyone. I work tirelessly to make sure my image is flawless. You just happen to be an unfortunate accident. Do you understand? Not a word. I don't care much to let others know a genius sleeps among them. Jeff snickers under his breath as I ponder over his proposal. I honestly still can't believe that this Jeff I thought I knew was basically a lie. If that's the case, why should I let him keep lying to everyone else too? I'm going to agree, because he could be dangerous. Before I make my decision, I have to know one thing. You must have a good reason for pretending like this, huh? I ask him as serious as I can. I don't want him to think I'm trying to be coy right now. Jeff, seemingly surprised with how straightforward I'm being, elects to glance away. Well, I will not explain the exact reason. I will admit to having one. Okay then, that's what I thought. I sigh and try to ease down, my body so tense that my shoulders feel like they're stuck in place. I promise not to say anything then. Jeff blinks a few times like he can't believe it. You won't say anything? I nod. Just like that, because I asked, I nod again. Fuck you, Jeff. Jeff bursts out into laughter. Intriguing, yes, very intriguing. I thought I had you completely figured out. Then you go and surprise me like this. Hey, you better not be calling me a snitch. I just think that if you're going through all this trouble to keep this pretend persona of yours, you must have a good reason. It's not my place to talk about it anyway. Yes, because he's abducting people and doesn't want people to know. Jeff crosses his arms sorely. Clearly, I underestimated you, Nicole. What a disturbing discovery. I wink at him playfully. You'll find that I'm full of a bunch of surprises, like being generally nice once in a while. I presume that was a dig at my persona. My person? No? You're a genius. You figured it out. I managed to make Jeff smirk with that one. You said that you came to the lab to retrieve your lost book. He gestures at the textbook in my arms. Well, there's your useless textbook in your arms. You may leave my sights now. Trust me, I can't wait to leave his sights as soon as I can. However, before I go, there's one thing that's bothering me. I'm going, but you can tell me, why were you even here so late in the first place? What's pretty weird? That's pretty weird. An innocent enough question. I suppose I can grace you with my answer. It is simple. I am just the person who volunteers to make sure that everything in the lab is in its place. Doing so allows me time afterward to spend in the lab by myself. Why I do that, however, will still remain my secret. Such an idea of genius would be difficult to grasp, I'm sure. I do my best not to be creeped out and fail miserably. Okay, I'm going to leave you to whatever it is you're doing here. Unconcerned, Jeff lays me off as I quickly leave the lab and slam the door shut behind me. Did that really just happen? Who would have thought that Mr. Perfect was actually too perfect to really exist? One thing I know for sure, though, I think I'm going to be spending a lot less time in Professor Garver's lab now. Alright, let's see.